So a couple weeks ago, I saw a bus, and it was kind of like along our driveway, and there was a bunch of ice everywhere because it was snowing, and this bus was trying to turn on the driveway, and it was trying to turn in a way where it can, make a perfect curve, turn around, go back on the street. But instead of being able to turn fully all the way, it kind of glazed off on the ice, and when it turned on the ice, it kind of affected how it turned. So it went into the driveway, and like before, like probably in the summertime when it was hotter or it was warmer out, for a fact that if it would have turned, it would have just kind of turned probably closer to the house, closer to the sidewalk. It probably would have went faster and kind of eased all the way around. But because it was so much snow and ice, this bus went along the ice. It kind of skeetered a little bit, and because it was so like trying its best to not get into an accident or slide or something like that, it skeetered on the ice, but it was like very, very far away from the sidewalk. It was like very close to the street. It was just really awkward, and it didn't have the freedom and the smoothness that it had before, trying to turn and just make sure it went, down the street, and make sure, the kids got safely to where they were trying to go. And I kind of remember seeing this, and it made me think a lot about, I don't know, just like kind of trying to be perfect, trying to be just perfect, and always trying to be liked and accepted, and like kind of like the pressure that comes with that. And I know right now it kind of uh, doesn't necessarily connect, but Luke 10:38 is a really good scripture because it says in there, as the Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." And the Lord answered, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." And it also reminds me of Matthew 11:30 that says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And every time I think about like trying to be perfect, I kind of think about that bus that was trying to turn, and because of all of like the ice and all of the gulk, it couldn't turn smoothly, and it had to turn further, much, much further away than it usually would have if it was summertime and there was no ice and it was hot out. And it kind of like does the same thing. Like I feel like there's a difference from striving for perfectionism versus striving for Christ. And it looked like Mary was, the one that was at Jesus's feet, and she wasn't trying to be perfect. She was just kind of like at his feet in his presence and just kind of enjoying him and the time that she had with him. And Martha was the one that was busy, that was kind of like moving around, that was doing dishes, she was cleaning the house, she had all these things that she had to get done, and trying to serve and be a servant and working so hard and trying to make sure everything was perfect. She completely like missed the moment, and she wasn't able to really enjoy him and enjoy his presence, and it kind of suffocated her ability to be closer to him, even though she felt like she was doing all the things she needed to do. And in a way, she was kind of like that bus. It was like she was trying so hard to be perfect that instead of coming closer to him, it actually created like a distance where she wasn't able to be as close, where the stuff and the gulk was getting in the way of the intimacy, was getting in the way of the closeness. And in the same way, striving to be perfect, striving for perfectionism is just almost like the complete opposite of striving for Christ, because if he's already perfect and we're striving to be perfect, that means we're taking on a burden, we're taking on a yoke that he hasn't given us. And again, like it doesn't mean that you're free to just kind of do whatever you want. There's still, loving him also comes with like following his commandments. It comes with a form of obedience that is healthy, that is filled with love and also truth. And then also it kind of exudes those fruits of the spirit. So if you have Christ living in you, if you're following him, naturally what's going to flow is peace, joy, love, righteousness, self-control, discipline. But it's going to be in that healthy way that comes with following Christ and not trying to do it in your own strength or in your own ability. And some of the things I think about when it comes to perfectionism is kind of like this idea of like overworking, overdoing. Everything has to be planned, and usually because you're doing it in your own strength, um, you don't really see the fruits of the spirit, such as true joy and true peace. It's kind of like forced. And instead, you might see like anxiety, you might see fear, you might see kind of like an irritability when things are interrupted and it's not done the exact way that it's supposed to be done. It's this organization that's very like traditional, and there's like no room for mistakes. And then it's almost like you can't stop the working, you can't stop the doing. It's like this constant and consistent cycle of just working and doing and trying to earn and trying to prove yourself when Christ has already paid the price on the cross, when he's done all of the things, like he's paid everything. And what it takes away is like it takes away from the time that you're able to spend with him. It takes away from just enjoying being with him. It can impact, like it kind of creates this frustration when you're not able to do everything perfect and exactly right, when that's not even what he called us to. He's called us to really just rest in him, and everything that we do is like an overflow of literally like what he's doing through us. And it really shows the fruits of the spirit, and just this idea that you can't do anything in your own strength, that you're doing everything in his strength, and he's literally doing it through you. And there's like a flow, and there's a beauty to it, and there's no stress, and there's room for just this healthy like humanity that comes in there. And that's what I think when I think about Mary and Martha. And so I just pray that someone's encouraged today. I pray that you're not striving for perfectionism, but you're striving for Christ. And again, that doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, because he's already perfect. And anything that you do in him, if you allow him to do it through you, it won't even be you doing it. It'll be him doing it through you completely. And so stay blessed and stay warm, because it's kind of cold out there. And have a good night.